There was a huge farm in the lush plains of the U.S. state of Montana. Green pastures stretching far and wide, wooden fences, an old red barn, the sounds of horse hooves, and the sun setting behind the mountains in the evening. Every scene looked like a movie. A young man of about 32 years old lived on the same farm, whose name was Jack Anderson. Jack loved animals very much. On his farm there were horses, cows, a few sheep, an intelligent border collie dog, and a very mischievous raccoon, which Jack had picked up from the forest when he was injured as a child. The raccoon is a common animal in America. It is considered very intelligent, curious, and quite adept at imitating human movement. Jack named him Bandit because the black markings around his eyes looked like a bandit wearing a map. Bandit was the most mischievous animal on the farm. He would open doors, he would open boxes, he would even steal the keys from Jack's pocket sometimes. Jack would laugh and say, one day he'll rob a bank. But Jack had a bad habit. He smoked a lot of cigarettes. First cigarette in the morning with coffee. Second in the fields in the afternoon. Several more at night sitting outside the barn. Bandit was with him almost all the time. He would climb on Jack's shoulder, follow him, and look at everything new with amazement. One evening, some of Jack's friends came to the farm. Everyone was having a barbecue. There was a lot of fun. Suddenly, a friend said with a laugh, Jack, your raccoon imitates everything. Just look. Does it smoke cigarettes or not? Jack refused at first. Then, jokingly, he put a burning cigarette close to Bandit for a few moments. The raccoon first wrinkled its nose. Then it sniffed the smoke, suddenly sneezed loudly. Everyone started laughing. The conversation was over, or maybe it had just begun. Over the next few weeks, a strange change began to be seen. Whenever Jack took a pack of cigarettes out of his pocket, Bandit would immediately run to him. At first, no one paid attention to him. Everyone thought the same thing. It imitates every move of its owner. But one day something happened that made Jack himself worry. He was in the other corner of the farm. Bandit was nowhere to be seen. Jack asked a worker standing far away for a cigarette. As soon as he lit the lighter, about 50 meters away, Bandit came running from the bushes and went straight to Jack. Jack was surprised. How did he know? Now, was this a coincidence or something else? That night, Jack realized for the first time that he might have pulled a dangerous prank. But the real surprise was going to happen the next day. In the morning, a veterinarian was going to come to the farm, who came every month to examine the animals. Jack decided, today I will definitely ask him what happened to Bandit, but he had no idea that the doctor's answer would change his mind and he would reveal a secret that had kept scientists around the world researching for years. The next morning, a light mist covered this quiet farm in Montana. The sun had not yet fully risen. Jack stood by the fence with a cup of coffee in his hand, but today he did not light a cigarette. He had his eyes on only one animal. Bandit, the raccoon, was still playing around as usual today, but as soon as Jack put his hand in his pocket, Bandit immediately raised his head and started running towards him quickly. Jack was shocked. He had only taken out his cell phone from his pocket, not a cigarette. He said softly, "Are you really watching my pocket, or are you waiting for something else?" At the same time, a white pickup truck pulled up at the gate of the farm. Dr. Emily Carter, a well-known veterinarian, got out of the car. She had been examining farm animals for many years. Jack greeted and said, "Doctor, today I'm going to ask you a strange question." The doctor smiled. "Let me hear the question first. Then I'll decide if it's strange or not." Jack told the whole story from beginning to end. Dr. Emily was silent for a moment. Then she looked at Bandit. She said, "Jack, this raccoon may not have really become addicted to cigarettes, but you've definitely developed a habit that could be dangerous to his health in the future." Jack asked in surprise, "But it can come to me from a distance." The doctor replied, "Animals don't just recognize smell. They also remember sound, movement, and daily routine. If you've been doing the same thing every time you take out a cigarette, it's possible that he's connected all these signals. And if he's been exposed to nicotine or smoke repeatedly, it could be even more harmful to him." Hearing this, Jack's face changed. At the same time, the doctor examined Bandit thoroughly. Heart rate, breathing, eyes, nose, everything was almost fine. But he said one thing that silenced Jack. "If you really love him, after today, never let him come near cigarettes or tobacco smoke." Jack took out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket at that moment. He looked at it for a moment, then he put it back in his pocket. He thought, "I won't smoke today." But this decision was not so easy. As the afternoon wore on, he began to feel very uneasy. He would repeatedly put his hand in his pocket. Then he would stop himself. Meanwhile, Bandit also walked around him. In the evening, a friend of Jack came to the farm. He lit a cigarette as soon as he got out of the car. Smoke began to spread with the wind. Before Jack could say anything, Bandit suddenly raised his head. He sniffed the air and ran straight towards the guest. The guest panicked. "Jack, catch him." Jack immediately ran. He picked up Bandit and followed him. Dr. Emily's words were ringing in his ears. "If you really love him, keep him away from the smoke." That same night, Jack made a difficult decision. He put a small sign on each door of the farm. "Smoking is prohibited on this farm." The friends laughed. Someone said, "Did you make this law for yourself or for the raccoons?" Jack smiled and replied, "For both." But the story wasn't over yet. The real test was about to begin. Would Jack really be able to kick his years years-old habit? And would Bandit gradually forget about this behavior? Or was it too late? A decision that changed everything that night. Jack Anderson couldn't sleep. He was tossing and turning. Only one thing was on his mind. If one of my bad habits really did harm Bandit, who is to blame? He woke up before the sun rose in the morning. He picked up a pack of cigarettes. He stared at it for a long time. Then suddenly, with all his might, he threw it into the trash can. He said to himself, that's it, not after today. But those who have smoked for years know that quitting is not easy. The first day, then the second, then the third, Jack would get restless every few hours. Sometimes he drank coffee after coffee. Sometimes he chewed gum. Sometimes he took long walks in the farm fields just to control the urge to smoke. Meanwhile, Bandit was also a bit different. For the first few days, whenever Jack put his hand in his pocket, he would run to him. But now, no cigarettes came out of his pocket. Only keys, phone, or food for the animal. Gradually, Bandit also began to accept Jack's new habit. A week passed, then 2 weeks, then a whole month. Now neither Jack smoked cigarettes, nor Bandit ran after any smoke. One day, Doc Emily came to the farm again. She asked with a smile, "So Jack, how are you doing?" Jack replied with a laugh, "My greatest achievement is not that I quit smoking. It's that I saved my best friend from this smoke." The doctor loved Bandit and said, "Sometimes animals teach us lessons not with words, with their behavior." At that moment, Jack realized maybe the real patient in this whole story was not himself, Bandit. Bandit was just trying to understand his owner's world. Time passed. After a few months, people who came to the farm were surprised. The same Jack who used to finish 2 packs of cigarettes a day, today he was explaining it to others too. He often told children, if you love an animal, never make it part of your bad habit. It trusts you, and it is your responsibility to protect that trust. Friend, this was a fictional story, but the lesson behind it is absolutely real. Science definitely shows that nicotine and tobacco smoke can be harmful to animals too, and that is why no animal should be deliberately exposed to cigarette, hookah, vape, or tobacco smoke, because they cannot speak, but their body also feel pain. And now a question for you. If you were in Jack's place, would you have quit smoking the very first day? Or would you also have to wait for the silent gaze of a speechless animal? Do let us know your opinion in the comments. And if you like such surprising, interesting, and truthful story in which unique secrets of science, history, the animal world, and human life are revealed, so subscribe to our channel right now. Be sure to press the bell icon so that you do not miss any upcoming videos. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like, because your like is the biggest encouragement for our hard work. Share this video with your friends, family, and everyone who loves animals or wants to know about the harms of smoking. Maybe your one share will change someone's mind, and maybe the life of a speechless animal will be saved. Until then, take care of yourself, your loved ones too, and also these speechless creatures who trust us.